technology of the moment. It can bring immense, unimaginable value to our products, to our processes, to companies, and I've seen it create huge impact on how we operate in our businesses. But still, it can be quite dangerous. This technology can, if it goes wrong, it can bring us reputational damage, it can bring us legal expenses, it can bring us problems in the actual real world, how we impact people's lives. And yeah, finances, legal, reputational problems, we want to avoid them. I've been consulting companies about AI implementation for more than 3 years. And what I've seen is it goes good, sometimes it goes wrong. And usually it's the legal stuff that gets in the way. So, this podcast is created for professionals who work with AI, who want to bring strategic decisions, mindfully aware of what risks can it bring to the company and to real world. So what I feel is that the world needs yet another podcast, but about a very specific topic. How does AI development come together with the legal aspects? And this is where I can be your guide in the AI business world, and Via can be your guide in the legal world. Via, who are you?
So, hi, hello. I am currently AI ethics, law, and governance researcher and advisor. My background is actually like 15 years in total in legal profession. My last job as a lawyer was judge for 4.5 years. But for more than a year, I've been working on Business AI Ethics Research Initiative that is currently based at Harvard University Edmund and Lily Safra Center for Ethics, where we are developing AI governance model for business leaders. And last year in summer, I returned back to Latvia, and since then here in Latvia, I've been advising government and also business organizations regarding AI, safe AI adoption. And I've been also teaching professionals about ethical AI. And about you, and how did we meet?
Yeah. And actually, we have a very complementary duo here from what I feel, because I have 8 years of programming and business process reengineering experience in my past professional life. But currently, for 8 years, I've been into IT organization management.
Yeah.
And for last 3 years, I've been actively going AI first route, where I really want to do the processes with AI, implement into every aspect of the company, of the companies I manage. Everywhere there should be AI in the processes where it makes sense. So I've seen good processes, I've seen bad processes, and now currently I help companies implement AI solutions, the expensive and complicated ones, and also generative AI, which is really accessible right now and has caused a big hype for the last 3 years. And it totally makes sense to implement this technology. And we met through, actually, we've both been in Boston. And that's the common point for our interest and passion for AI, because I visited AI companies, AI legislation makers, and that really made me think of what is the impact and how leaders should think strategically about their AI development. And you came in with your research, with your wonderful experience as a judge, real life decisions. So I really feel that after our first conversation, that we had such a great connection point where business, strategy, and legal stuff comes together, so that we understand and can give actual advice to companies and to businesses how to not mess things up. So I think we could share some perspectives that are really important for today's professionals, today's leaders. So where I would like to start is actually where we started when we met first. What legal aspects should we take into account when we start to develop AI solutions? Because in my case, usually a company says, we need AI. We want AI. what is the legal landscape that actually we should take into account? Where does the legal world start in this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can completely relate to your experiences because in my experience working with different organizations, also it still seems like the first question they ask is about how do we implement AI and how do we do it quickly and how do we do it with like least possible expenses. And legal questions, they usually stay in the background. No one wants to hear about it. The first question when it comes to legal is, are there any penalties that I'm risking to be paying in case I don't do something that the law requires? And if not, then there is no motivation to even like listen further about law. But I would say, coming back to the point that you mentioned at the beginning regarding these negative consequences, there are actually so many ways how AI can go wrong. And there are several thousands of AI incidents already recorded that have happened in the real world with real consequences. There is somebody that caused the incident, and there are people or organizations that have suffered the negative consequences.
What are the first mess ups or messes that are recorded? What do the companies, what are the typical maybe mistakes that you've observed in those many new cases appearing? Where do companies mess up this?
Well, okay, like I mean, the assortment of mess ups is actually very wide. There are biased decisions, lots of biased decisions, especially in HR. There are already recorded cases. For example, there is this one Amazon algorithm that they were developing, and they stopped the further development because it turned out it was discriminating women for specific positions. But also currently there are already ongoing litigations against one pretty very large IT company that is developing HR platforms. And there is class action lawsuit against them that they are their AI system is discriminating people who are older than 40 years. Um, Biases is one category. Another large category is hallucinations. Because with generative AI, we are creating lots of new stuff. Very often it's used for creating texts, and we see hallucinations everywhere where you create content. In academia, in legal world, in consulting, there have been incidents. In original writing, hallucinations appear if they are not caught. So that's just few examples.
Oh yeah, we've already heard that millions and millions are the consequences of going wrong, and not to even mention the reputational damage if you mess up as a consultancy. Boy, does that break the trust between the client and the organization. So for me, what was interesting was what rules or what law is applicable to
Yeah.
companies. Where do we start? Like where okay, so I want to do some AI solution. Of course, I'm curious. I'm a business leader. So what direction should I think? What laws apply to me at all? What should
Yeah.
I keep in my
Well, the issue actually is that in many of those cases, there is actually no law that was regulating such situations and setting like the rules and standards, what would be the right, acceptable approach or solution to these things. The companies were operating in the vacuum of legal regulation. And despite the fact that in the recent years, especially, legislative activity has been increasing and governments around the globe have been increasingly adopting specific AI laws, it's still very much in development phase. For example, in Europe, we have this very famous EU AI Act. It's already partially in force, but it's not in full force. And what is happening currently is there is this digital omnibus currently being negotiated, which might delay application of some of the rules or even soften some of the rules set by this act. So I would say when it comes to law, there is lots of like gray areas, lots of uncertainty. And even if you have a law, from legal practice, it usually takes several years to establish how exactly the law should be interpreted, how it's going to be enacted and implemented in the practice. It might take several court cases to actually to reach a consensus of specific interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to be that company which is
No.
the one like setting the precedent for some specific laws. So
Yeah.
what's I've heard that GDPR is a thing that the majority of the cases are maybe data related.
I could ask you the question to explain maybe about like what is the importance of different kinds of data in AI use and also development, where it comes. At least from my understanding or perspective, there are various ways data can be utilized when it comes to AI. So I would leave it to you to like explain this technical side, and then I can give my commentary about data.
Because I think that it depends on the solution that we are creating. Because a lot of companies now they're reaching for the generative AI thingy.
Yeah,
Like let's connect the API. Let's just connect the
yeah,
generative AI to our website, to our documents, to
yeah,
our things. So that's one type of solution. And then there are like machine learning everything neural networks where we train on our data.
yeah,
So at one point we're using something that's been trained by others,
yeah,
and then we use something that's trained on our data.
yeah,
So the data landscape currently is really wild. So but I think the trend right now is generative AI. So somebody else has trained the data.
yeah.
We're using our generative tools, and that's where most of the cases come from: biases, hallucinations. So, what regarding that is the first thing that we need to think about in legal aspects?
So I'm trying to approach this data question by classifying data in different groups because it's not always the same data. Like, I mean, if you are just writing a question, like what date is today, right? There is no sensitive data involved in this particular question or prompt that you are writing. But definitely there is a way to, like, I don't know, provide an input with your this is my date of birth, this is my name and surname, this is my address. Please format a letter to an institution with all this data and also describe like very some personal, personality related stuff. Then we are already talking about different kind of data, right? Related to the personal data comes into picture. What else when it comes to training, but also to prompting? You, let's say, take an article from a magazine, right? You want a summary for whatever purposes. If you copy it into let's say ChatGPT or um, other AI tool, you are already operating with material that might be intellectual property and protected from that perspective. When it comes to business organizations or public institutions, businesses have trade secrets, right? Commercially sensitive information that they usually would protect and wouldn't give outside the company. Also, intellectual property. There was the Samsung case where some of their engineers placed code from a program that was like protected intellectual property by Samsung into ChatGPT, public unpaid version. You see, right, how it can escalate. And also, public institutions, they have like various levels of sensitive information that is protected that you need to obtain access to actually work with that information. Probably in public tools, it wouldn't be like right to use this information in whatever format, just copying it inside for analysis or through your prompts disclosing part of this information. So yeah, the spectrum again is like very wide from things that are from information and data that doesn't require any protection to various different types of protected information.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's so complex, and you don't know where to start. Is it possible to like sketch out some routes? And I believe that we will explore those routes in the next podcast episodes, because we really, as business leaders, as developers, we struggle to understand when and what problems to expect legally. So
Yeah.
when do these risks exist? So what I caught from what you said is that there are personal risks. If I, as a company employee, copy everything into AI and then send it to a free version, of course it's a breach of the contract, and
Yeah.
and some legal aspects there. There's AI literacy connected to this issue. There's the AI Act is a whole specific topic.
Yeah.
There's data, how the data is being stored, where it's being stored, what the data is taken. The GDPR stuff is a whole other world.
Yeah, definitely.
What disciplines can we explore also in the next episodes? And what do you see are the components of what to keep in mind when we talk about AI legal stuff?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see this platform as an opportunity to contribute to strengthening AI literacy. And we all currently need AI literacy. And the thing about AI is that it's blurring lines between different professions. If previously it was completely acceptable to just stick with your profession, whatever you went to school to learn, right? Being accountant or lawyer or data engineer, programmer, you cannot afford to do that right now. You actually have to explore other professions or knowledge, try to widen your understanding of both the technology but also the environment in which the technology is operating, which includes the legal landscape, the risks that you mentioned, the implications, impacts on on wider society, not only like how my product is going to perform in the market, but you also have to think few steps ahead about what negative implications could impact your stakeholders in case something goes wrong. You have to widen your perspective and be able to spot these things. And I do hope that through these conversations with you, we both have different backgrounds that complement each other. Through these discussions, I do believe we can contribute to strengthening AI literacy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and I believe that this podcast is definitely valuable to business leaders.
Yeah.
So let's leave them with the initial takeaway from our initial conversation. What should a business leader take into account when leaders are talking about new AI solutions? What's the thing that they should keep in their minds, understanding they're not legal experts and
Yeah.
they're not IT experts?
Yeah.
So what's your perspective on that? What should they, or even what should they ask their lawyer maybe, or what are the hottest questions that they should get answers to before they like risk everything?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to give you specific questions that they should ask, but I can definitely assure you that they should adopt mindset that isn't ignorant, but to develop curiosity and ask those questions and do speak with colleagues. And if you don't know how the technology, how AI operates, what LLM is, do ask somebody to explain these things to you. You don't need to gain this like very deep, almost scientist level knowledge how AI systems are operating in order to understand them, but you have to like learn basic principles. When it comes to hallucinations, for example, you need to understand why they appear, why they are a thing, right? And you can understand it. You don't need to know like how exactly the LLMs are operating or neural networks are operating, right? There are just some specific principles you need to understand to be able to participate in these discussions and understand those risks.
Oh yeah. What
Yeah.
I always say when I consult business leaders, board members, and leaders who need to make the decisions, I'm saying something that probably maybe majority of them want to learn, want to understand, but currently we're all in the same level.
Yeah.
It doesn't even depend. Are you a board member? Are you just an employee? Are you a junior employee? What we all need is to understand the fundamentals, how this works. Then how to use it, then how to use it to create a product, to create value, not just using it. And yeah, how is the world changing because of this technology? Have you tried vibe coding? Doesn't matter. Are you a board member or are you a junior employee or senior employee? You simply need to follow up with this technology. I previously was a head of AI at a university, and for 2 months I went to Boston. I came back, I took a break. In 2 months, even for me, it was overwhelming. What new things, what new models, what new functionalities are emerging in this? So you need to, in order to keep your competitiveness and especially to make strategic decisions, you need to be on top of those tools. I wouldn't suggest to wait it out and while it calms down, while the hype goes away, because it will. But still, it's important to be on top of your game, to understand it now because it will develop. And the more you
Yeah.
understand the basics and where does it come from and where is it going, the more benefits you have not to be replaced, to create good decisions, to work with your employees and to work with your management. So everyone is on a single starting line, in my opinion. How is it in legal world? Like we're not lawyers here. How to follow up with these things?
Yeah, I mean, like from my experience, like my day-to-day job is doing research, and my day-to-day job is to follow all the updates and things that are happening, not only regarding technology, because like what good does it make understanding the law if you don't understand like the basics about the technology that it's trying to regulate, right? I would say it's really overwhelming and it's really hard, and like I think I shared this feeling with other researchers as well, that it's very hard to keep up with all the advancements that are happening. And because of the nature of AI, its diversity, the opportunities to apply it in like name any sector, you can find ways to use AI in any sector, in any operations, in any functions, right? So it branches out all the time, and new use cases come up every week, every month. The same happens with risks as well, with incidents as well, with research being done on legal implications, with law developing. It's tough.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it is. And I think it's money well spent right now is in AI literacy training
yeah,
for all levels of employees for a company,
yeah,
personally and professionally. And it kind of seems a good investment to buy maybe a consulting from a lawyer if you're developing AI solutions or developing inner solutions. Go through the laws, go through what's in the AI Act that could impact you, what how to be ready for what's coming, because it's definitely coming. You don't want to be the you don't want to be the use case in court cases to make a statement about
yeah.
some laws.
Yeah, I would like to underline AI literacy that you mentioned. I would like that to be our next topic for our next podcast, to try to unpack what exactly AI literacy means. It is very often understood more narrowly than it actually is. So, yeah, I think this is a good teaser for the next episode.
Oh yeah, let's unpack it. Let's jump into it. Let's try to explain it in a simple way, and yeah, help leaders orient themselves in this new world of AI and
Yeah,
legal stuff that comes with it.
yeah, yeah, because AI literacy is definitely the first step, and AI literacy is the thing that we are trying to contribute to with our podcast.
Yes, indeed. Let's unpack AI literacy. Let's unpack all the strange questions related to AI implementation. Where does it intersect with the legal stuff? Because, hint, almost everywhere. So let's do it. But you have the wonderful opportunity to ask your questions because we will get to them and we will answer where's the AI implementation part, where's the legal part, and how does that impact you. So be sure to leave your questions in the comments and let's unpack this together. See you in the next one.